Welcome to Ark Survival Evolved. Today we'll be looking at, well, more or less just taking care of your raising and taking care of your dodo bird, not your dodo birds, fuck's sake, fuck this dodo bird. Where is he? Oh, there he is. He's been making a ton of noise while I was trying to get things prepared and... Anyway. Basically, I'm going to teach you the basics of living alongside and riding and such your dragon. Or I guess Wyvern, because we're in Ark Survival Evolved here. Now, I may have to go... I'm the admin of this server, so you're going to have to craft the saddles and things that I have already. I just spawn them in, and I'm going to spawn in a saddle just because I'm teaching you flying. The gathering and everything else of your saddle materials and that, it should be entirely up to you. I consider it part of your journey as a rider. I shouldn't take you through every individual things. I happen to be head of a tribe of dragon riders. So this is kind of, we view it as a way of, like a rite of initiation. These are things you have to get on your own. People can't just show you how to do them. Now, riding and learning your dragon is a different story. There's a lot of things that even though I've taught you how to do it, there's some other things you're going to have to learn yourself, like proper tactical flying, that sort of thing. Mind you, I'm on a boosted server, so my server is boosted for faster leveling, faster growth, and everything, so it may actually take significantly longer for your dragon to grow up. This is a very vital time for it, so you need to keep it safe. Look, you noisy little shit. Anyway, you're gonna learn a very profound hatred of dodos. Now, provided I don't have like a knife or something with me to get some extra meat, I'll end up grabbing that while I'm grabbing the saddle. I may take a long code, which is something any server admin knows can be a bit of a bitch. There we go. Let's look through the saddles here. I have a list. I have lists of these things because I run a server from time to time. So I have lists of tons of adding codes, because I don't just do them for myself, I do them for anyone and everyone who runs with the server. Someone comes by, say they need some extra supplies that haven't spawned back yet, they get one. They get them. I'm a very kind individual when it comes to my server. We've already got a tech headquarters and all that for one group, all of which support my clan. Sounds weird, I know. For a dragon clan to be on top of a server, especially on the Ark where they don't spawn. I ended up bringing eggs over from my other world to have them here. I actually don't think they require a saddle if memory serves me correctly. I don't know. It's always good to double check, but I was pretty sure I used to be able to ride them without. That might just be me though. We'll have to see. No, I don't need to get engrams. I don't need engrams. The funniest part is that you get engrams in here. In my opinion, this is pretty funny, especially since I play Destiny pretty avidly. So you can get me, I can get meat with my candy cane. Awesome. Good enough. It'll work. Right, so let's get right to the egg. Now, I've got some selection here of what I want. Where'd it? Huh? See, and this is how you lose shit. That's not it. Oh, that's not friendly at all. I'll fucking shoot your ass. Shit. Shit. Look, you nasty shit. Right, so we're gonna try this again. See, this is why I brought sprayers. You cannot trust the dropping system in this game. Can you actually... thing is I'm not seeing it drop. See, we never had this problem before. So this is an issue. The egg thing is not dropping properly, like usual. The eggs decayed rather quickly. So we're gonna try and drop 2, see what happens. Nothing. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to spawn one in. Considering you can't really get them on this map, you have to actually port them over from the free map that came with those who bought Art Collector's Edition, Scorched Earth. So this may take me a second to get. I have a copy here. I lined up these pages specifically for the episode ahead of time because I knew I was going to be doing it. I did my Destiny stream earlier. Yesterday we had the huge power outage, so we couldn't really do anything. My apologies, otherwise I would have done it straight up for you guys. I think I actually memorized it. We'll have to see. Well, most of it anyway. Let me just dig up the lists. It's here somewhere. Ah, here it is. And go through to which one do I want to do? I want to do lightning. It's my favorite kind anyway. Fire is all well and great, but when you can rely on directly killing your target without having the issue of setting your environment on fire, lightning is the one for you. But if you just like burning shit down, killing everything in sight, that sort of thing, then you're more apt to have a fire wyvern. Right, so for anyone who runs their own servers or is an admin of a server, watch carefully to what I'm doing here. This is called long coding, which is normally something that's reserved for PC users, but if you have the patience, this sort of thing can be pretty beneficial. You can get a lot of interesting items that the game doesn't really want you to have that can actually prove to provide a very good edge, like a very beneficial edge to your server, such as things as like spawning and supply beacons for other players or for yourself that are from other maps. Occasionally this sort of thing does work, and I recommend it. I am also the admin of the Dragon server, so I would know. My main mount happens to be the Dragon boss, just force tamed using a command. The controls for the Dragon boss and the controls for a Wyvern are actually identical. So, for me to learn how to control that thing, it didn't take long. Because I primarily fly a Lightning Wyvern, named Bolt, and then my secondary dragon that I fly around all the time happens to be named Draco. It's a force-teamed Alpha Fire Wyvern. He's the one that I bring along when it comes to a tribe is acting up and they need a building destroyed, considering they're bugging us someone else and everything like that. Things like that I'm not really too fond of. I'm not a fan of people fucking with other tribes when I try to keep it balanced and fair. It's hell when you try to please everyone. I believe that was supposed to be a Zed. Yeah, that was supposed to be a Zed. Yeah. But yes, I honestly, in my personal opinion, for a combat dragon that you want to just quickly dispatch your targets, but not trash the environment around you, lightning is the dragon for you. Fire is good for being big and flashy and, you know, ooh, look at me, I'm so scary, I'm on a big fiery red dragon. Lightning can get the job done without making as much of a mess. And while dragons are meant to make messes, when you're trying to make a statement, lightning is better. Because lightning, you can kill one player in a group of 3 directly. Like, yeah, lightning is my favorite. And _lightning. Lightning is like the way to go. But if you happen to get, say, a fire or a poison wyvern, there's nothing wrong with those dragons. Don't hate on them because you think they can't do the job. They can. You'd be fucking stupid to think they couldn't. They can really fuck your shit up. Oh. Alright, so some other things you'll need to know. Okay, so instead of me spawning in just an egg and raising it, it's going to take a whole lot longer than I have time for this episode. So I won't actually be able to just tame you, show you a tamed dragon. But what I can do is tell you the basics when it comes to raising a dragon. Very easy to work with, it just takes 5 to 10 days for them to grow. It says 4 to 10 on any wiki, but don't bullshit yourself. It takes longer than that. You're gonna have to kill the wyvern's parents. Obviously, the 2 alphas. You need to kill them both, not just one. So it's gonna be a bit of a challenge. Or, you've managed to somehow tame an alpha, and through... I swear to God, like, I'm just gonna tell you right now that, like, it's gonna take a severe amount of skill or being an admin, and then you can obtain the required nutrient to feed your baby dino, or I guess dragon in this case, because it requires its mother's dragon's milk in order for it to grow. It will not take anything else for nutrients. It will only eat that, and that is what will give it the ability to grow, have additional levels while it's growing. Now, you could just straight up feed it meat, I'm pretty sure, because that's what I used to do and it worked, unless they've patched that. But for me, that's what worked, and that's why I have so many of them. And I hunt all the time. Like, as you can see, like, I'm not exactly new. Assault rifles are really good for taking in a good spew of animals. Candy cane here, it's just a reskinned club. I just, long coated in a Christmas skin, painted it blue, so I got a blue candy cane. So I can violently bludgeon, small animals to death, and then kill them, get the meat, that sort of thing. It's just tedious BS that you need to know. Raising, however, it just takes a good amount of time. But the most challenging part of everything when it comes to raising your dragon, and this is very key, you need to know this, you're going to need a total of 14 campfires around each other, like say in a circle or like in a big cube, and the egg has to be in the center or it will not hatch. You need an extremely high temperature to hatch dragon eggs because they're used to being like torched by their parents, so like being covered by fucking fire. So you're gonna need a huge amount of temperature, or you just need to live, right beside a volcano. There's an opportunity for this on Ark. The island Ark. I'm on the island in the center because I liked the like bowl aspect look of it, my floating islands, that sort of thing. I like the whole fantasy feel. And the ruins are my favorite, in my opinion. I like the ruins. Only because like the ruins is just so that I don't really have to build a base every time I come on this map. I can just like throw up a tent or something in one of the ruins and I'm good to go. Just set up some torches here, the campfires and standing torches here and there, and then the ruins have basically built you a house. There's nothing really you need to worry about, which is good, and I like that. Yes, whatever, boosted leveling, you're gonna level up like crazy. It's really easy to do, you just have to toy with your settings till they work. But for the actual flying lessons and everything, we'll start that soon. Those are things you need to know. The raising of it and everything and having it running around with you, that's one story. But once it's an adult, let me show you just what kind of things can happen. Now, you're going to have to type this in for a long coding. And I know it quite literally says admin cheat, but you're an admin, and that's probably the way they programmed it to make you feel bad. What we're going to do is we're just going to instantly summon it tamed. So this is a trick you ought to learn. For those of you who don't want to take 5 billion years trying to set up a good server before you send it live as your hosted multiplayer world, these are tricks you need to learn for your setup. Now I'm gonna get the Wyvern. My personal opinion, lightning is one of the best. Now they are talking about uploading another Wyvern known as a ice Wyvern from the look of things. That's what it looks like, that's for sure. Okay, so the Ragnarok DLC is going to add a ice Wyvern. That sounds good. It's gonna be fun. I'll have to learn how to master this one as well, as I pride myself in truly knowing my dragons. Okay, so here's how you summon a lightning Wyvern. And this is just for instant spawning and stuff. This is the stuff you do if you're an admin on a world, or if you're just on single player and you want to have a dragon right off the bat. And that's what you're going to make your dino, and that's how you're going to play. You're going to nomad it with a dragon. That's respectable. It's the only time that I justify using codes, is if you're just giving yourself an initial monster, or an initial gun, or mace, or whatever. Some tedious small items, like a little package of survival items. You're good. Alright, so here we go. Look at this beast. Now, if it doesn't constantly try to attach itself to the floor... Right. Let's go. Alright. Now what we have here is a lightning Wyvern. Very devilish, demonic, fiendish looking thing. Looks like it crawled fresh out of hell, didn't it? Yeah, well. Very loud, not very quick on the land. Ground, it has a bite attack. This is R2. I'm using the left stick to maneuver it. They're identical as walking your character around, and as you can see, I didn't actually require a saddle to ride this. So, my memory proving correct that you don't actually need one. So there isn't one. What you can do is the dragon can consume things for you, so you don't really have to butcher animals that much anymore. Alright, so now I've pressed X and I've activated flying. This is just using the joystick entirely. That's all I'm doing. Just using the joystick to fly. This is all we're doing here. Flying around nice. We got some smooth flight going. Really nice area. Really beautiful scenery. Now if we click L3, we go into a faster flight mode that's a little more direct, slower on the turn, but more or less it's a little faster. Starts burning through your stamina pretty quick. You burn through too much stamina and you have a chance of just falling out of the sky. Now we're just gonna have ourselves a nice little fly with our dragon here. Everything's flying nice. He's going nice. It's nice. Now just tilting down, pulling down on the joystick causes you to tilt upwards. Pushing up and aiming, pushing forward and aiming your camera up also allows you to go up. Oh, from the looks of that, that beacon's underwater. Alright, so I'm going to show you a little something that it takes a little while to figure out when maneuvering a dragon. So we're going to find ourselves a target, or just this area right here. Now this is what your specialty attack is when being airborne on a dragon. As you can see, it is very aggressively effective. For leveling your dragon, things you need to think about. It's going to need a lot of stamina. Stamina is a big key factor here. Carry weight. These two, well, that's entirely up to you. Melee damage is something that's important. And health. Yes, now he's going to look slightly injured because he's slowly recovering. Okay, we're going to land now. And yes, he's going to go really derpy for a second while he attempts to locate a place to land. Because he's special. Now you can just click R3 and he will auto land. Just land directly straight down from where he is. Now, as you can see, he looks like he's fresh out of something from hell. Very fin-like facial features, very fish-like. Interesting beastie. Very beautiful. This is a male variant. I won't need a female variant because they look practically identical. Alright, so now we're going to change it around and I'm going to show you the flying around and maneuvering of a fire dragon. Yeah, again with the planting your heads on the floor. Why? Now this one. Reminiscent of Draco. Very demonic. This one looks more like your stock Dragon, Tails, Legends stuff. Your standard claw wings, legs. Yeah, well, like you, Carrots Rain. And fire very commonly with your males and female female dragons. You'll get a black and red look. Like, it's your stock, excuse me, I breathe fire, fuck you, dragon, as you'll see. Again, with R3, however, you can take off directly up. With R3 while you're on the ground, you do this. You can blow down trees, that sort of thing. So what we'll do is we'll increase its weight in case it accidentally picks up something along the way. And yes, they do a little level up intro sequence and stuff. It's kind of cool. X is to take off. R3 when on the ground. When you've landed. R3 to do a wing attack, which will level most trees, that sort of thing. Very, very fucking bright beacon. Thanks. I totally needed to fucking go blind. Yes, this one actually flies slightly faster, but not by much. It's got a little more maneuverability, a little bit. Like your default dragon, flame dragon, very common. As you can see, very bright fire, very impressive, very flashy. Everybody likes the flame from the flame dragon. So what we're going to do is we're going to land. Because if we don't land, he's going to tire himself out. But yes, occasionally your R3 is your dive landing or direct landing. It's got a decent amount of range on it, as you can see. Slow stamina recovery speed, very common. A good, intelligent way to run your dragon is to increase your stamina. For things like your poison dragon, for things like your fire dragons are good for, like, say, AoE damage. Really good for torching an area. They also do very, very, very high amounts of damage. As you can see, a trike would be a problem for your average survivor, but when a dragon gets a hold of him, he just bam, one shot. Goodbye trike. Or I guess triceratops, but still. Bam, gone. No longer a problem. And yes, as you can see, it also damages the environment. Very, very, very powerful dragon. Overall, definitely would recommend it as a powerful creature. For something you want to do that's directly involving attack power, this is the dragon for you. Now, console edition on PS4 doesn't have Ragnarok yet. It's releasing on the 4th of July, which I think is kind of funny. But as you can see, your fire dragon, definitely your ideal dragon when it comes to causing damage and having a decent health level. This is your dragon for fucking shit up. You want to fuck up buildings? This is the dragon for you. He does more damage against buildings, and is good for sweeping attacks that do damage over time. Lightning dragon is better for direct attacks that do extremely high damage, but aren't as good as leveling buildings as this dragon is. This dragon definitely good for rattling down your wood and buildings, which is very common for survivors to have. Whole tribes to build a large amount of buildings in a small amount of time. Most likely they're built out of wood. This is the dragon for you if you're looking to fuck shit up. Now, for your swamp dwellers, I got a dragon just for you. Not right now, Brandon. Not right now. Now, this very lizard looking. Ah, god damn it. Inserted himself into the floor. Very torn, very strange, very snaky, and I don't even know how to explain that. But, okay, so he's got a lot of zombie-like colors, like you got your grays and your greens, things you commonly see like on a zombie. Yeah, this is the kind of dragon that you're looking at. Very creepy. Very, very creepy. This one is very different on how it does things. You'll see. It's very exclusive. Makes a lot of the same noises. Has all the same controls. They all have the same controls. They don't do things differently based entirely off of like race. As you can see, he moves slower than the others. Larger wingspan, but actually moves slower. And yes, he's, like I said, he's got these zombie colors. Can bite in midair and everything. But look at what he does when you go to use his breath attack. It's called turn, you wank. Thank you. Yes, I see. As you can see, you can't just turn like a plane. He's not a plane. You have to actually go bank to turn. Look at that. See how destructively effective that is? Look at that. Instead of poison breath attacks, like instead of just spewing poison, he actually spits green fireballs made of burning poison that actually explode on impact. One of my favorite creatures for taking something entirely by surprise. Honestly, I'm sorry I got all quiet there, but the poison dragon is your most mystical, magic-related dragon. Very slow, but he's also very quiet, as you can see. Good for landing that sneak attack. Very flashy, especially when he strikes at night, because he blends into the foliage so well. The swampy foliage so well that if he were to strike at night, look at the kind of range that he can get. And look, if we bring up some of that stock arc foliage, as you can see, he slowly blends in, obviously making it very difficult for a target to spot him at night. And as long as you don't make a lot of noise, he could be the most dangerous opponent you've ever seen. As you can see, he blends in pretty well. Very dangerous. Very effective. Number one, in my opinion, of a nature element dragon. He's especially effective here on the center with all the fireflies around. Constantly have those bright lights in your face at night. If you're exploring at night and all of a sudden a big flash of green hits your face, you won't see the bite. You'll be too blinded temporarily by that flash of green that hits your face that you'll be attempting to run away as this thing comes out of nowhere, and then it's as simple as chop. And you're dead. It's very sad to see something die to this thing, but also amazing. As you can see in the grass, he's actually very quiet, and there's a bit of a stomp, but not really. And his flight, unlike the other two, is actually silent. He doesn't make noise when he's flying. He moves slower, but he doesn't make noise. This is for you hunter-killer dragon riders. Those who live in solitude, and you don't want a big flashy war dragon. This is not a dragon for war. He has lower health than the others. He's a hunter. This is a dragon for hunters. Can just dispatch opponents very quickly with lethal poison. Is very, very good for dealing with targets at close range. It would require training and experience to make this thing stronger, but I do recommend it for your forest hunter types that still need to be able to rely on something to take out the bigger league creatures like megalodons. If you're near water, obviously, like you're right on one of those forests that edge on the lake, and you end up having a one megalodon or two in the bottom of that lake. They come up to the surface sometimes and mess with your boats. this is the type of thing that you want with you, because it can poison it, so if the Megalodon retreats underwater, it still dies. For your T-Rexes, Gigantosauruses, nothing will want to fuck with this thing, because they can run as far as they want, the poison will still kill them. It's very effective and extremely lethal. It is a poison to which there is no cure, because it will kill you faster than you can consume one. There is an antidote. There is. So you can save your dinosaurs if they get poisoned by one of these. But the fact that you tried to fuck with one of these, you deserve it. You deserve the poison you get. Oh, there's a T-Rex there. Let's level up some of his power here. Let's give him a little more punch. This is something you need to do with these dinosaurs, is that you need to level their punch, their power, and their stamina, and occasionally their health. Yes, that doesn't look like it's a whole lot. That actually looked like it significantly wounded him, but do not worry, as it didn't. He will regenerate it very quickly. Their regen is actually some of the best I've ever seen in dinosaurs. I do believe I just heard a horse. Oh, hello, T-Rex. Oh, you're gonna fuck with me, are you? As you can see, the very daring and destructive effectiveness of this dragon. 2 bites, and a T-Rex is gone. The once fierce hunter of the jungle, of the jungles of Ark, down in 2 blows. As you can see, like I said, this is your hunter dragon. Inventory full of meat? No, he isn't going hungry anytime soon, and neither would you. It's already dead. Leveling up your weight is a good idea with this dragon, only because this dragon should be your mobile home. Its wings can provide you shelter, as it is not bothered by the rain. As it is a reptile, its skin is not fazed by it. But yes, you can actually, it does work, can take shelter under its wings. I've done it before. This dragon you should count this as your mobile home. Care for it, and it will keep you alive, keep you fed, and keep you fighting. This, in my personal opinion, for those who are not in a tribe of war, this is the dragon for you. I will be doing an updated video when the ice dragons are released, and I will tame an ice dragon. I will go the mile, I will train and raise an ice dragon, and we shall see just how powerful they are and where they mesh in the best. But yes, this dragon is a dragon I recommend for hunters. Only because of how powerful it is. It is a completely unmatched hunter dragon. But do not, and I am serious, do not put this in a war scene. If you are at war with another tribe, do not bring this with you. This is not a war creature. It is very solid. It is very lonesome. This hunts by itself, or with you. This is a hunter. This is not an airborne war machine. I would most certainly not recommend this if you are in a tribe versus tribe war. The poison shots are meant to be direct, flashy, often only distractions. This is not a dragon that was ever intended for a tribe-on-tribe war. As I've seen in so many servers of these people putting these poor things through war, this is not one that was designed for war. It is a lone hunter. A hunter. Please, I need you to remember this. It is a hunter, not a war machine. Your flame dragons are war machines. They will level buildings as well as armies without a second thought. They will blow them away as if they never existed. Lightning dragons are extremely destructive, excellent for handling your metal building and metal wearing survivors, especially your metal wearing survivors. Oh, the poor buggers that come running you in knight armor against a lightning dragon, you'll cook them in seconds. But those are dragons with high health and high damage, entirely designed for combat situations against possibly other dragons or against the enemy's ballistas, catapults, cannons, machine gun turrets. Those are dragons that will survive direct conflict. This dragon's scales are softer, so it cannot take as much abuse. It isn't designed for a full dragon versus dragon or dragon versus machine conflict. It's not a war machine. It wasn't designed for that kind of fighting. It's designed to be your best friend, to hunt with you, to keep you and it alive. It is an amazing companion for your nomad dragon rider. One who rides alone, this is the dragon for you. Live in the forests, the two of you will stay fed, happy, and will grow together as an impressive team. This is most certainly a dragon I would recommend, and I'm most likely going to find that the ice dragon is probably the same way. And that it would prefer the ice. And if you're an Arctic hunter, then an ice dragon's most likely going to be the one for you. I prefer the hunter dragons, honestly, because I often find myself playing alone or with my other half. So she prefers the flame dragon, because she ended up with an albino flame dragon, which was really impressive. The sad part is that her name is Snowflake. And if you piss off Snowflake, she will torch your village. So. But this is the dragon for hunters. He gets slightly louder depending on how fast you go, but if you go slow like I do, not very loud. Actually relatively quiet. Not super quiet, but quiet enough to easily sneak up on prey. You might be big, but as you can see, at a distance it'd be really, really, really easy to lose him in the foliage. His colors are decent enough that in the foliage of Ark's forests, you'll easily lose this dragon. And he can snake his way around, creeping all the time, to easily get a hold of a perfect way to line up the perfect shot. Throw one of those bad boys past your screen and then bam, it's as easy as one little bite. And you're dead. Now, I'm not 100% certain if the bites also apply poison or if it's just the blast, but I'm pretty sure the bite must also too, as it's pretty effective. Although one dinosaur that I'm going to recommend you never fight with anyway, you should try to befriend that giant dinosaur over there. As is more commonly referred to on my servers as Littlefoot. As you can see how destructively effective poison is. Instantly dead. No fight. But you can get some pretty decent range, as you can see. That's a decent amount of range, especially for a breath attack. But they don't drop buildings. This is a very sniper-like dragon. Boom. Cooked with poison, completely dead in a single blow. Boom. Very effective. Now obviously the other dragons are just as good in their own fields. And as you can see, the stock dragons, I'll blow you away attack is still here. Poison spreads, by the way, so you can kill a group of dinosaurs that are all together with a single blow, making hunting significantly easier. yes, for your lone hunters, your forest dwellers, your overall dragon fans, this is the poison dragon. Very effective in what it does. Considering the DLC, it just isn't out yet. Otherwise, I would be showing you. As you can see, he does fly fast. The poison and the... Well, not the poison. We are on the poison dragon, by the way. And yes, he gets a more gray color when in direct sunlight. Don't know why. I think it's just more or less the way his colors shine in the light. Far more beautiful in the dark. But I know I put them around here somewhere. And if not, if we can't find them in the next minute or so, I'll just spawn in some more. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find them. Oh well, we'll just spawn in a couple more dragons. They'll just have a very populated map of dragons. And you see that? Did you hear that? He was very unimpressed with me when I told him to land on the tree. He will not do that. And their bites are so powerful, they can drop trees. If you are desperate for resources and have no other means of obtaining it, your dragon can obtain them for you. When it comes to wood, that dragon can get it for you. Yes, okay, the flying, it takes getting used to. There we go, see? Instant landing. Very smooth. You can get a bit of a run going, too. You actually can, if you're trying to swiftly chase a target. You wait for your stamina to come back, obviously. But you can actually get a bit of a jog going when on the ground. It's actually kind of adorable. But yes, you can actually hound a target relatively at a decent speed. You'll catch a horse at least, if that's your target. Horses you can catch, larger dinosaurs you can easily catch up to. They're not very fast. Ow. Pegomastax. Ah yes. The dinosaur of thievery. Those would normally come up to a survivor's knee, but as you see, they do only come up to his knee. They don't look very big, and they're actually relatively hard to spot from the back of a dragon. I'm not even going to question that. I'm not. I'm just... Ark. That's the only way to explain that one. But yes, very snake-like dragon. Forked tongue and all. Very snake-like. That is your ideal swamp dragon. Now, obviously, I'll show you, I give you a bit of a fly-through again with the lightning dragon and explain its effectiveness. And where it's most effective. Actually, we'll take the fire dragon out and we'll see if we can't find ourselves a volcano. These things shine in ideal locations. As you can see, this one has a slightly grayer color, closer to its albino cousins. X takes off very smoothly. Get a bit of a flight going here. Very smooth. Very nice, very nice. Or common orange and red, black and gray colors for your flame dragons. These are things that you ought to remember. I'm not going to kill the dragon on the rock. You can just, not the sauropod on the rock. I'm going to leave that to the way it is. If it wants to sit on the rock, it can sit on the rock. I'm not going to mess with it. It's on its rock. That's its house. Now here's some ruins I haven't seen before. I'll definitely keep note of where these are. Because, to be totally honest, see, and this is why I like the center map so much. This right here is an oh, bloody hell. That's disappointing. I don't want to have to kill them all. But this right here, if you clear this out and build some stuff in here, this is a whole base for a small tribe, all in one shot. Like, you wouldn't have to build a thing. Maybe a few stockpiles and such. Other than that, what you have right here is an entire headquarters in one go. That's all you'd need. All of this right here, headquarters in one shot. Very little building required. Oh, and a little thing I don't know if a lot of you knew. I believe, which button is it? It's not triangle, I think it's... No, it's one of them here. Hold on. Is it this? No, it's not. It's one of these. There it is. Yes. R1. If I haven't shown you before, this is actually a very beautiful way to fly your dragon, to get a real personal feel with your dragon. It's actually really cool to fly from the back, to quite literally see what you would see flying the back of a dragon. Much easier to control the fire breath attack and such too from this view. Oh, looks like a beacon is coming down from fucking God knows where. I never know where those damn things come from. But yes, this is actually triggered through R1 if you didn't catch that. It allows you to have a very personal view with your dragon, to see what you would see from the back of the dragon. Provides a easier flying experience, I find. You still have to pull up every now and then instead of controlling the dragon with the joystick, you now just only press forward with your L1 stick and then control it entirely with your camera. With the right stick, you should control all of your flying from here. Now this is a very good way to get a good view of your surroundings. Yes, actually. There is a volcano in that direction, so we'll land, get back our stat. We'll fly in that direction, see if we can't get a better view. Now, provided they are slow and you can't level up their speed, think about how few threats you're actually going to encounter in the air. Very, very, very few. Almost next to none. From the looks of things, yes, thank you for mentioning the smoke. It must have slipped past my view. As you can see, the red obelisk, or orange as I like to say, because it looks fucking orange until you get close. It looks like we've got a pair of volcanoes over here. Yes, and a volcano island, excuse me. Volcano island. A pair of volcanoes, and they look like they're the only ones on the map. Come on now. Okay, where's your head? There it is. That's something you have to keep track of. If you turn too fast, it can't keep up with you. So you'll start flying in a direction and you're not going the way you're pointing. So remember, you and the dragon's head at the bottom of my screen here, as you can see, that is how you're driving. It's like that's your steering wheel. That's what you have to have pointed in the direction you are going. As I'm told from the DLC previews, all of the Ragnarok map is going to look a lot like this. And that right there, as you see in the smoke there, is a glitch commonly caused by buildings being near the obelisks. It causes texture glitches. No one knows why. It just kind of happens. But yes. As you can see, there's texture glitches, but that is actually a volcano. Hatching your dragons near here would require you to protect them a lot more, and it would be very dangerous. But with the higher temperatures here, you could pull it off. There's some ruins there. From the looks of things, it was carved out by your predecessors. Yes, you should find some place to cool down soon, because you're too hot. The volcano islands are extremely hot. You need to bring a lot of cooling items, like a shelter or something to modify to handle the heat. But right in there in that flat rock crevice here, point the dragon's head at it, right there would be an ideal spot to have your dragon eggs, to hatch them. Or near the magma river that goes through. On either side of it, just close to it, you should be able to hatch your dragon eggs, and if they aren't hatching, set up a campfire. Just a 1 or 2, or just keep adding them if you need to hatch it. It could be a bit of a bitch to hatch though. Just saying. And as you can see, like, it's a large map. Honestly, the center, I recommend it. It used to be a custom map or whatever, made on a mod map or whatever, add-on on the PC, and now it is a DLC for the console edition that I got for free. Everyone got it for free. I'm pretty sure it just kind of came with the console edition game. It did with the one I got anyway. But yes. As you can see, we're flying over the center. The reason actually why this map is called the center, and I will show you, it is right over here. This is not actually the center of the map, so it's kind of misleading. But why it's called the center, and its signature piece of the center map that no other map has. Now, they claim to have multiple floating islands, so this is actually incorrect. They only have one, and it is counted as the toughest dungeon in the entire map, because of how difficult it actually is to get close to this island. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you a roundabout view. I'm not going to try and board the island. Oh, I'm guessing you mean the volcano island. It is, there are dangerous animals-ish. And this dangerous dungeon, oh, there are... Like every RPG, a dungeon spawns a lot of enemies. Well, this place spawns a lot of extremely hostile monsters. So, like I said, you want to pierce this place, you're going to need an Argentavis, which is a type of bird. If you don't have a dragon egg or a dragon that you've brought over from another save, using the beacon... there's an ARC upload download item transferring function on every beacon. Any beacons and at the obelisks. You can actually transfer whole items, whole dinosaurs, or even your own character data to be downloaded onto another map. As you can see, now this is about as close as I'm going to get to give you a good view. What you can see here, from this view, you can see the fact that it is indeed a floating island floating over a lake. To get here, you're going to need obviously a dragon or a bird. Or if you're brave enough, a petrodactyl, because they don't really have any real attack. The bird, however, does the little petrodactyl things that you can saddle them, and I guess you could try it. And then there's the Quetzal, which is a very large bird. You could use to transfer yourself and some supplies to here to set up a small base camp before attempting to tackle the dungeon. Inside, I've heard there actually is a relic in there somewhere. I don't know where, and every time I explore there, I end up falling through into the lake. But when you fall into the lake, you don't die. Well, unless you're killed by whatever's down there. And as far as I know, I don't actually think you can get out of there. Let's patrol around and see if we can't find a way out of the bottom lake, because I've never seen one. I ended up dying and just trying to get myself killed and trying to respawn my way out, losing the items I had on me, but it's that or get stuck at the bottom of a lake, you know what I mean? Right, well, it doesn't look like there is one over here, but that doesn't say there's one on the other side, you know? Oh, and what's below me? That is a swamp area. Well, actually, that's called a marsh. That's not a full-on swamp. That's not actually a swampland. The swampland is that land right there. The land patches, they count that as swamp, and they count the liquid area, the area where you're basically walking through fucking water all the time, as the marsh. That is where you're going to encounter a lot of crocodiles, like prehistoric crocodiles. Giant leeches that you actually have to remove from yourself and your dinosaurs that can actually give you diseases if you don't get rid of them. And if you do, you still have to find a cure for the disease. It's called swamp fever. If you get it, it can desperately fuck you up and spread throughout your campsite of survivors fairly fucking quickly. So that's something you need to work on, is making sure you have a supply of an antidote. Something that I never noticed before. But it's always good to discover new things. From the looks of this right here, it appears to be some form of ramp. I will check that out, and I will confirm or deny this for you. I will just land right here, and then we'll go and see if you can go up and down this little ramp right here. Right, so let's land nice and softly. There we go. Nice. Nice. Alright, so I will be back, Dragon. Now, for ranged weapons, I don't normally use an assault rifle. In fact, my preferred weapon is what's called a long neck rifle. It is a lever action long rifle, I think it's lever action anyway, that loads simple rifle ammo, which is easy enough to make. You don't need a big fabricator to make it, and there's a dependable gun. It can do the job for when you need to do basic hunting. That is the weapon for you. This is actually And I know I mentioned it earlier, but this is actually only a reskinned club. I just used the long code to get a Christmas skin for it, but it's a wooden club. But it does the job. Yes, okay, so this is actually a staircase bridge thing that goes from the bottom of the lake. So if you do fall down from the island and survive, this is how you'll get back up to try again. And now, like I said, you're going to need a bird type called an Argentavis. It looks like a giant hawk. And if you don't want to use that, you just want to use your stock Petrodactyl, use that. Either way, you're going to have to fly in. This is not an area you're going to get into without a good degree of difficulty. Setting up a headquarters there, however, could be extremely difficult. I will attempt to do that on a later date, and then I'll live stream the results. It may require a large amount of an extremely large amount of like tech turrets and everything else. It'll have to be like a really high-tech base to survive the constant threat of monsters. Obviously, like I said, it would require a tech headquarters and such, because this place is swarming with enemies. They just swarm you, and they have an auto aggro range, which means it doesn't matter what you do to them. It's like the predators in the wild. Except for some of these, you wouldn't expect to be predators, but they'll attack you anyway, just because they can. Yes, do the little jog. I'll leave it at this, folks. I've taught you how to take care of your dragons. Yes. The antidotes can actually be used on your dragons as well, and if your dragon acquires leeches of some kind when running through the swamp, I highly recommend you remove them as soon as possible. Your dragon contracts swamp fever. Follow the required recipes to make it, and apply it quickly. Getting yourself golden eggs to increase its experience gain. These are ideal functions. You're gonna have to look that up, by the way. I have to look it up too. It's been a while since I've done it, so I have to refresh my memory. Otherwise, I just tell you how to do it. But ideally, some pointers you need to remember: high temperature, extremely high temperature for hatching dragon eggs. Your basic commands: X to take off quick and land quickly. Ground, R3 for your wing attack, R2 for breath attack for both land and air. Again, R2 for biting attack for both land and in air. I'll demonstrate both in a moment. X, again, quick takeoff. R3, sprint in air, and to do the little jog I did on the ground. R2, obviously flame if it had any stamina. And R2 bite works in air and out of air. Flying quickly turning requires banking, like you're flying a plane. You can't just snap turn. It's not a helicopter. But you have to do banking in order to turn. It's like pulling up and then going around, or pulling down and doing the same thing. It requires banking. R1 for your more personal view, aka first person, where you just push forward and then drive for the camera. This mode, however, lets you do direct turning. This is if you want sharp turns, you can do them from this mode. It does all the banking for you. You can do sharp turning from this steering mode. You can't do it in the large mode, but you can sort of. It's just extremely slow. But in the camera mode, you can do it relatively quickly. I don't know how, but it just kind of happens. Anyways, guys, that was the video. Thank you, and may all of your adventures with your dragons be ever prosperous and, well, I guess, destructive. Have fun, guys. Catch you next time. Leave a like and subscribe, and hit up the social media pages. Links are in the description.